Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Glor. The Open Championship is over, or the British Open. American Zack Johnson is your winner. What a thrilling Monday. We had a playoff. We had a delayed fourth round, which took place on Monday. We're joined by Ashley Mayo of Golf Digest. Ashley and I have been upstairs watching for the past hour or so, and even longer over the weekend. Your quick reaction to Zack Johnson winning this?
Well, we just saw he was steady, and he had nerves of steel down the stretch. No one really kind of figured him into the equation because he doesn't overpower golf courses, and apparently that's what you needed to play well at St. Andrews. But he's lethal with a wedge in his hands, and we saw him get up and down from everywhere.
Nobody figured him into the equation 8 years ago when he won the Masters because that course has such length, and I mean he picks these courses apart strategically.
Very strategic. He has a game plan and he sticks to it. He never really wavers. Now he has a dozen tour victories, 2 majors. I mean, this guy's the real deal, and he still flies under the radar, but I think that'll change really soon.
He does still fly under the radar. You're absolutely right. He's 39 years old, still has, one would think, at least a few years of his prime left. Let's talk about the other members of this playoff. It was Louis Oosthuizen, the South African, and Mark Leishman, an Australian. Oosthuizen had a chance at the very end. The guy who dominated at St. Andrews 5 years ago, what happened at the end for him?
Yeah, he had a putt, and we were about to see a playoff to a Monday finish.
Yes.
It was going to be the tournament that just would not end, which is fine. St. Andrews on our TVs, like, things could be worse. Yeah, he had a putt at it, just didn't make it. Louis loves St. Andrews. He loves the old course. He's had a lot of success there. And over the whole weekend, we just saw him. He was part of that crew that on Saturday morning had to play during terrible conditions, where I bet if the RNA had to take a mulligan, they would take a mulligan there and would not have sent the players off.
Yeah, what happened? So what happened on Saturday?
At 2 a.m. our time on Saturday, they resumed play because they didn't finish on Friday. So they were about to finish the second round on Saturday, try to get that in, and then get the third round in on Saturday. That didn't happen. It became too windy. Too windy at St. Andrews.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Years ago seemed like totally weird. That would never have happened. But now, since the green speeds are running much faster, and that's a modern day kind of green speed, wind at St. Andrews is a factor and actually stops play.
And there was some criticism of the RNA for possibly cutting the greens a little too short and allowing the balls to roll there.
Yeah, and just for calling out the golfers to the course at 2 a.m. our time, 9 a.m. their time, and yeah, it was, 7 a.m. their time.
Right.
They're 7 hours ahead or 5 hours ahead. And there was criticism. Why make them wake up early? Why drag them out to a course that ultimately was unplayable? Oosthuizen was part of that. Spieth was part of that crew.
Yep.
They both made unfortunate bogeys. Putts would literally not stop on the greens. So what if that hadn't happened?
Well, if he hadn't bogeyed that hole, Spieth, he would have been in the playoff as well today, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really jump to that conclusion because other things down the stretch would have changed, I'm sure. But yes, in a way, that's the way to look at it.
Jordan Spieth had a spectacular birdie on 16. It looked like he was going to be in that playoff, and then he dropped the shot on 17.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate drop shot on 17. Unforced error, really. He could have gotten up and down pretty easily and just didn't convert the putt. And then on 18, he had another chance. He could have gotten up and down for birdie and just spun his wedge shot way too much and didn't really have a chance.
The other guy who was in the three-way playoff, Mark Leishman, we mentioned, the Australian, he's been a bit of a story because of what happened to his wife this year.
Yeah, at the Masters, his wife got toxic shock syndrome, and doctors told her that she had a 5% chance to live, just to live. So he pulled out of the Masters. She was there with him in the beginning of the week and got this, pulled out of the Masters. He did as well. And now she's on a kind of full speed to recovery, but that was really scary. And so to see him bounce back through all his troubles was really cool.
Dustin Johnson, I want to talk about Dustin Johnson quickly. He's had all these issues both on and off the course. He led after the first round, right? Led after the second round was complete, and then just completely tanked these last 2 rounds. What happened?
Yeah, Sundays at majors have been kind of his Achilles heel, and he just has not played well on Sundays at majors, whether it's the final round or the third round. So we saw that unraveling take place and really happen yesterday, even though it was the third round. And then I mean, he backed up a couple rounds in the 60s with 275s. So he fell off pretty quickly. And, you know, we'll see him at Whistling Straits in a couple weekends, and that's where he had his other really kind of brutal loss at a major.
That's where he grounded the club?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's going to be the next course that he faces.
Oh, man, it just never ends for DJ, does it?
I know, but if anyone can take it, it's DJ.
Yeah.
You know.
So talk a little bit about Whistling Straits, by the way. What should we expect? Who's the favorites?
Yeah, it's going to be another kind of links-style golf course. So we saw the links-style golf courses started at Chambers Bay, continued at the old course. That's a real, true links course. And then links-style again at Whistling. So we're going to see, I think, the same players who have been in the mix. Jordan, Dustin, those golfers who really kind of know how to keep the ball low and play strategically on link-style golf courses. I think we're going to see that again. They're going to rise to the top.
The PGA, by the way, on CBS, we should mention, one would think Jordan Spieth would be, as you mentioned, would be the favorite.
Yes, absolutely. You can't count him out. What he did today was amazing. You know, he perfectly placed himself to win a third major in a row. Fell just one shot short, just one shot. So he didn't win it, but what he did was incredible.
We have, Tiger obviously missed the cut at the Open Championship. Do we expect him to play in the PGA, and do we expect anything from him to come before that, by the way? One would think he might take off a bit, or is he going to play before then? Do we know?
I believe he's going to play once before then, and definitely in the PGA. We'll definitely see Makila, or sorry, at Whistling Straits. Whistling Straits. And yeah, no one really knows what to expect. You know, a couple weeks ago, we were really excited about a T32, you know, a finish in 32nd place. That was really exciting, which is kind of sad if you think about it.
Yeah.
But he's ranked now outside the, you know, he's a 200th golfer in the world, and it's kind of a free-for-all. He might play well, but he might not. But what we can do is expect to see him on Thursday and Friday at Whistling Straits.
Well, Zack Johnson is your Open Championship winner. And by the way, I mean, sort of a perfect Zack Johnson moment. You know, has sort of a bit of a muted personality.
Yeah.
And he's the quiet guy, again, as we say, who not the long hitter, not the big Phil Mickelson personality. When he won, he almost had no reaction at all.
Yeah.
And then gave someone a hug, and then when he was asked by Tom Rinaldi after on the 18th, he cried a little bit, and he talked about the birthplace of golf and how much it meant to him. But this is a classy champion.
Yes, very classy. It almost took him a while to really say, whoa, I am the Open champion. And for the next year, that's how I'm going to be introduced on the first tee, the Open champion. And yeah, it's really incredible. And to win at the home of golf, yeah, for him was really special. We saw that in his face.
In Tom Watson's last year.
And Watson's last year, and Ivor Robson, the first tee announcer.
Yeah, that's true. Who came out of retirement to announce.
Someone probably dragged him out of a pub.
I'm sure he was more than happy to do it. What a fun Open Championship this year. Ashley Mayo, Senior Editor of Golf Digest, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.